Okay, so what I did was I launched our Docker desktop environment where our WordPress develop PHP is, and that way I can run WordPress locally. Then in here I created a new WordPress plugin. I created the README, I created the NLWeb-chatbot.php, and now we're just going to go ahead and commit this to our GitHub repo, push it, and then let's test it. First I'm just going to go ahead and create a new repo, call this NLWeb-WP, say NLWeb implementation for the WP ecosystem. Already have a README. I'm going to go ahead and push this repo like this. Okay, went ahead and pushed that. Let's refresh. Awesome, here we go. Okay, to test this now, I'm just going to go ahead and clone the WordPress environment and then set it up with Docker. Alright, we're just installing a fresh WordPress install now. Okay, so we just got WordPress successfully installed locally. Now we're going to go ahead and clone the repo of our plugins. So we're going to go ahead and open up our WordPress thing here. Let's go into plugins. Okay, excellent. In fact, let's cd source WP content plugins. Okay, awesome. Now we're going to clone our repo that we had made here. Okay, let's grab that. Awesome, that should be in there now. Now we should be able to go over here and, okay, so let's go to plugins, let's go to activate. Awesome, now it's activated. Okay, great. So now that's activated, we should be able to come over here and click. Okay, so this is our current version. We might need a little bit of debugging and tweaking to see if this can work, but we can say, what is filled rocket? Let's see if this responds here. Okay, making sure that the server is running. Let's go and open this. Okay, so that is running. Let's go ahead and now try one more time. Okay, and it did make it to our server right here. And it is sending responses here. Okay, awesome. Summary string. Okay, so that did make it to the server, but it's just not bringing the result back now to our web chatbot. Okay, so it was making it here, but we're getting blocked by our cross-origin process that's set up in WordPress by default. All right, there we go. I think we fixed it. So the thing we had to do, awesome. Okay, so this is working. All right, so the way we got this working is that we just basically, in our WordPress plugin, we send the initial. So basically how this works is we send the query through the JavaScript client, and then we send it to our backend URL that is enabled through this plugin. So it goes to the admin ajax.php, and then we have this action, which is this NLWeb query, pass the query in, which is the user message that they send in. And then that will send it to this NLWeb query handler right here. By default, it uses this localhost 8000, but we're going to set a settings configuration in the WordPress plugin so that in the future you can set this to be anything. Right now we're running the NLWeb project locally on my local development environment, but in the future you're going to want to be able to host this NLWeb P server so that, yeah, basically, and then it will be pinging that server asking for and that's where the AI will actually generate its response based off of the indexed content that it pulled in from your WordPress site. But let's go ahead and just implement the settings page so that we can set this localhost 8000. Okay, so we just added this initialization for the admin menu where we basically set the settings for the URL for the NLWeb server endpoint. And then based on that, then the server URL will actually pull that out from the configuration, or it will default to this localhost 8000. Let's go ahead and take a look at that really quick. Okay, let's go here to our installed plugins. Okay, so it's actually here under NLWeb Web Chatbot, and then you can set the NLWeb server URL right there. Now, keep in mind that you're going to need to deploy this NLWeb server, especially if you're using this one on a WordPress site that is live and has its own domain and all of that. Right now I'm testing all of this locally just to kind of see how it all works and kind of do the initial development. But what you'll need to do is we'll need to create this NLWeb server and host it, and probably even add a domain with it, or just have the URL, the IP address here, and that will actually be the way that the chatbot interacts with it. You know, if you're in production, it's not going to work using this localhost 8000, right? Because this is, you know, running something locally on your computer, but this still need to be in a hosted environment for this to work properly. Let me know if you want a guide on how to do that, or if you want you know, a simple solution or service, and we can kind of explore that. But so far, we just have the initial really basic implementation of NLWeb through this WordPress plugin. This is really just kind of for local purposes, but from here, then us and other open source contributors can slowly roll it out, where we can have guides on how to deploy the NLWeb server, and kind of continue to build this plugin that way. This is just kind of a beachhead, but we're hoping and looking for contributors that can, you know, kind of fork this and make improvements and then push it back up into the repo. It's a brand new project, NLWeb, which is barely released. It was actually yesterday announced by Microsoft. So we're just barely getting started, and this is going to be a nice standard open source and free way for anyone who has an existing WordPress website to turn all of that into a nice AI chatbot. So thanks, and let me know if you have any questions. Reach out to me, drop a comment, add me, let's connect, make an issue in the GitHub repo, and we'll figure out how to move this thing forward. So thanks.